Hi, I'm Cliff Curry. I'm the superintendent of Red Bluff Elementary. I have an announcement today about our reopening plans. I know many of you have been waiting and wondering what was going to happen as a result of the parent registration that we did. We did finish it up on Monday. We were able to analyze our staffing needs based on an 80% group of parents that want their students to be in person and about 20% that want distance learning. What we discovered was that we will be able to staff it. Unlike the higher percentages that we had back at the beginning of August, it is possible for us to staff these two programs at this time. So we are going to aim for a reopening. That reopening date that we're tentatively scheduling is the 19th of October. We have parent-teacher conferences going this week, and teachers will also have to post grades next week prior to any roster changes that will happen as a result of shifting programs. So there's an awful lot to do. We also have to post positions. People have to fill those distance learning positions. We have to move some students. That means we have to alert parents that some students are going to move, and some teachers are going to end up having to move to different sites. But the good news is most students and most teachers will remain at their sites, and their rosters will remain largely intact. They may have a few students move in to their classes, but it looks like the bulk of the teachers and the bulk of the program will remain the same. That's good news. So for the purposes of alerting people to the fact that they're going to be at a different school, the fewer number of students that will have to do that, the very few number of teachers that will then have to move, there are processes that we have to follow in-house to make that happen, which is why we are tentatively scheduling the 19th as that date. We did feel it was important for parents to know that so that they can start making plans for their childcare, for other things. As of right now, we are going to resume the program that we thought we were going to be running at the beginning of August. That means the school day is going to run regular from 8 o'clock to 2:12 p.m. is about when our release is. We are going to ask parents to consider dropping off and picking up their kids from school. School buses are going to be full if everybody gets on them. Now, our county health director has said as long as everybody's wearing masks and they've been screened, that's okay. But we think it would be best if you had the possibility, the ability to drop your student off, we would prefer that you did that. But we don't want anybody before 8. We don't have supervision before 8 o'clock, so we don't want those students and their cohorts, meaning their class group, mixing with other class groups. There's no way to trace that. There's no way to know where things happened. So we are asking for you to hold off delivering your students to the schools till 8 o'clock. Now, I know that's difficult for some of you that maybe you go to work at 7:45 or something like that. But this is what we're saying we need from parents. In addition to that transportation issue, we're going to make sure that everybody is assessed and tested before they come onto campus. That means students will be getting their meals, getting their screenings, going to their classrooms pretty directly. During the day, they're going to be staying with their classroom. That means when they eat, they're going to stay with their classroom. When they're on the playground, they're going to be staying with their classroom. We're going to segment the playgrounds to keep them separated from other groups that are currently using the playground. So we have a lot of mitigations in place. Remember, everybody has to wear a mask, so you can supply one for your student. We are going to have some paper masks available. So those are the things that we'll be reminding you of and keeping you updated on in the next week and a half, 2 weeks as we move forward to that date. I know that many of you have waited for this for a long time, and I know that our staff largely is interested in bringing students back. We've been polling our staff, and many of them are telling us, bring the students back. You are telling us, bring the students back. So this is our response to that. When staff and parents have a wish, when they have this overarching need to see their students in a different environment, we're going to try and respond to that. And that's what this is about, is making sure those kids are back and learning in person. So one other corollary to this is the fact that Tehama County today went back into the purple. Now, I have spoken with the county health director, and according to the county health director, we are technically open since we have been serving students with special needs for the past couple of weeks here on our campuses. So that means that we are essentially able to open, able to continue with in-person instruction. So we want to be cautious. We want to make sure we have all of our plans in line, and we don't want to rush and endanger anybody. But we are going to move as swiftly as we can towards that date to take care of everything that needs to be taken care of. So once a county is in purple and a school is open while they are in purple, there are a few guidelines that the state mandates for to guide any closure in the future. One of those guidelines is that the total number of staff and students with infection, positive infection rate is about 5%. Once you reach that number, schools are mandated to close. Once you reach 25% of your schools that are closed in a district, then the whole district closes. Now, of course, with 4 schools, if we close one, that's 25%, so the district would close at that point. But 5% is a big number. I want to remind people that there's been schools open north and south of us, and with full numbers. Those schools have experienced no cross-school transmission. In other words, nobody has been infected from being at school. All the cases where students have arrived at school, they are arriving positive from catching it somewhere else. So they're showing up to school from a family gathering or some event where they became positive, but then the school, in our plans and in concert with our reopening plan, which was guided by the county health department, we will be isolating those students and quarantining them and any that they impacted. That's why we're keeping classroom cohorts together, so that if one student in a cohort is infected, those other students are kept quarantined as well for a period of time in order to make sure it's safe for the rest of the school. We don't want anybody becoming infected or positive from someone else at school. So we have contact tracers that we have trained, our own staff. They're working directly with the public health department. When a student or a staff is identified with COVID, they do contact tracing to find out who they may have contacted. The county health department then quarantines those groups and those folks that are at higher risk of having been infected with COVID. So we have plans for that, but you will know well in advance if it looks like we're getting close to those numbers that a school or the district would have to close. We are installing group hand wash stations. We are going to have a lot of hand sanitizers around campus. We have plans for staggered lunches and staggered recesses. So all of these things will be happening. You'll be hearing more about them. Finally, I want to thank parents for your engagement with the registration drive. I know at the end it was difficult. We had to send teams of people out to knock on doors to make sure that we contacted everybody, but we did get everybody's response. There have been some amazing hurdles that we had in front of us back in August. We have overcome those hurdles. We've done it with your help, and now every one of us, me included, most of our staff, all of our staff really, and you are saying that you want students back in school, that that's what's best for them. And I'm glad that we're finally able to move to that reopening. But we're going to do it together. We're going to do it with your input. And if you, again, have any questions, please check in with your sites because it's only together that we're going to be able to be successful. So thank you.